Hi, friends, welcome to my brand new podcast, Bookish by Ellen, where I talk all things books and even interview some of my favourite authors and some of my good friends. I hope that you enjoy. Hi,
Oh my God, hi.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for asking.
It is so
Um,
nice to meet you,
I
bestie.
know, because we've never probably talked to each other, have we?
Oh,
It's just
I love your voice so much. I
like,
always think that when I watch your videos. It's just so soothing.
oh, thank you. Should we get straight into it?
Sure, whatever
Okay.
you want.
Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Oh, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Gab. I'm Gab's Shelf on Instagram and BookTube. And I'm so excited to chat with you today, Ellen.
Yay. Okay, I'm so excited. I feel like I might have gone a bit overboard with the amount of questions.
Oh
Because
my
I was
God,
like,
I'm
okay,
excited.
so there are quite a few, but I feel like they're all kind of fun ones, you know?
I'm ecstatic. Thank you for even wanting to ask me, and I'm just so happy. I'll
Okay.
be so.
By the way, you look so like lovely today.
Oh
You
my
always
God, thank
do.
you. I
Yeah, I
literally
love
did
your
my
hair.
hair and makeup for this, so.
Yeah, I love how you've done your hair. Like I
Oh, thank
always, whenever I
you.
watch videos and everything, I'm always like, oh my God, I love her hair.
Thank you
So
so much.
yeah. Okay, I've got my phone like here, so if I'm
Yeah,
looking over there, that's why.
yeah, no worries.
So the first question I've got is what made you start like your channel and your Bookstagram?
Okay, good question. So I've been on Booksta since September of 2023.
Yeah,
I started watching BookTube and started getting into like the book community last year.
yeah,
And I really wanted to do it, but was really scared to. And I remember my boyfriend like basically pushed me to make a Bookstagram on my birthday, actually. He's like, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. So I did, and for BookTube was actually Miss Ellen Catherine, who I DM'd on Instagram, not thinking that she was going to respond. And she just gave me such great advice and was so supportive and so helpful. Was just like, you need to do it. Like, you need to get over whatever insecurity is like holding you back and just do what you want to do. And I think especially seeing her do BookTube and put out the amount of content she does with a
yeah.
full-time job was so
That is
inspiring to me,
crazy.
right? That was the moment where I was like, if she can do all of this, like I really have no excuse. Even posting like one video a month, there's like no
Yeah.
excuse to not do it if Ellen can do what she does.
Literally, I feel like on my channel, I like all my videos, I just gush about Ellen Catherine. Like every single video, and the one I'm doing at the moment, I mention her again, and I'm like, let's say it all together, shall we?
I love that. She deserves it.
She does. I love her. And I'm so glad that she managed to kind of get you to push that extra little step.
Yeah, yeah, she was so
Yeah,
helpful. She's so
it's great.
great to talk to about anything. She like I just cannot
Yeah,
say enough positive things about her. She's so wonderful.
she
But you
is.
know that.
Just a bit. What is your favorite type of content to create?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It could be
So,
for Bookstagram or for BookTube, whatever you want.
yeah, I think that I like to just do whatever feels like authentic to me in the moment. I think I have a lot of pressure and like I guess like imposter syndrome with like the content I post. So I'm trying to be less like stressed about it and try to take some of the pressure off and just post like what feels good to me. Because when I watch booktubers, when I watch any content creators, I like seeing people who are authentic and just posting like even just like photo dumps of your life and just like little snapshots like into who you are. I love that. And I also really, really love writing. So that's like a big goal of mine is to share and post some more of that stuff in the new year.
Yeah, that is exciting. And okay. I was going to ask this one towards the end, but because you just said that, I'm going to ask it now. Do
Yeah.
you have any kind of bookish related goals for 2025?
Oh, good question. Definitely to get some of my physical TBR down. It is so overwhelming to me. I live in a one-bedroom apartment that is being overtaken by books, and I just simply cannot buy anymore. So I think really focusing on my physical TBR, and if not, then focusing on like library books.
Yeah.
Um, Also trying to buy less and like if I can read through the library before I buy a book because I think I just get so excited and want to buy so many different things, but then I have so many books that I either read and they're not like my favorite and now are just sitting on my shelf. I don't know. I'm trying to be more intentional with my book purchases.
Yeah. But as
That's
well,
like
I feel like just buying so many, it's just the essence of being a book lover.
literally it's like the thing that keeps me going. So
Yeah. It's like I've got because if it was my birthday last month, I literally got books like just everywhere. And I'm like, it's stressing me out because I need somewhere
oh,
to put
it's
them all, but I've got
stressful.
nowhere.
Yeah, I love your shelves, by the way. They look
Thank
so
you. I
beautiful.
am actually redoing them, but I'm waiting for some pre-orders to come in because I'm like, I don't want to do that and then not have anywhere to put them and have to redo it all again. Because it's stressful. It takes days for me to do it.
It
So
is
if I just
tough
get them
out
all
there.
down, and then I'm like, that's another day's problem.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah. Okay. What books have resonated with you the most?
Mm, it's a really good question. And it's
I feel like
probably,
I've kind of put you on the spot with this because if
I'm
I
like, this is
asked
gonna
this,
be
I'd be
really
like, uh,
revealing. This is probably a scary thing to say, but I would say My Dark Vanessa is one of my favorite books that
yeah,
I won't recommend to people. But if you've ever been in a similar type of circumstance, it could feel very, very real and
yeah,
very validating. And I think it explores a lot of abuse dynamics in a way that felt really, I guess like compassionate to me. Like I just think it was like masterfully done. I love that book so much. I don't think I could ever reread it, but it is amazing. And then another book that I just read this year that really resonated with me was Men Have Called Her Crazy by Anna Marie Tendler. It's
ooh.
her memoir, and it's about her time in the mental hospital in 2021. Again, like these are crazy girl answers, but this is just how it
That's
is.
what we want. That's what we
Yeah.
want.
She breaks up her narrative of like her time spent in the mental hospital with different situations that she's had with men throughout her life. So it's a really interesting narrative style. Like the way that it is told is so fascinating. I definitely need to do a reread of it because there's so many different things in there that I resonated with. It's
Yeah,
like absolutely my favorite memoir that I've ever read. Um, so I think those two books are like soul tie books for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am gonna have to look into those books, I feel, because they
Yeah.
sound really interesting. And if I read them, I'll get back to you. But I always say that and then I never read them. So I'm gonna be really honest with you.
We all just be lying out here.
Yeah, I never said I was honest, guys. Never. What book sparked your interest in reading? Like whenever you started reading, or if you, for example, say you're a child, you started reading and you kind of stopped. Like I know that that's the case with me. Like I read a lot when I was a child, and then I kind of stopped for a while, and then came back to it. It's like what book or books kind of not resonate. I'm messing up my words.
You're good. I
Yeah,
totally
like
with you.
what sparked your interest?
Yeah, so I too read a lot as a child. I was like a Junie B. Jones girl through and through. I loved reading as a kid. And even in like high school too, there is a few books that I really, really loved. Ordinary People by Judith Guest. That's a classic that really resonated with me in high school. And I ended up taking a little break from reading once I went to college because I was an English major. So I was reading at English and philosophy major. So I was reading a ton for academia, and I think that kind of made my relationship with reading really like stressed.
Yeah,
Um, it was hard to like find books that were like fun again when I had to just read so much a week. Um, But the book that I read that I always say is like the book that got me back into reading was Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna in 2021.
I had so many good things about that.
So good. That was like the book where I'm like, oh my God, wait, reading is fun again. Like I can have like a happy and healthy relationship with it without it like having to always be academic. And I'm still like I'm doing my master's in English right now, so I'm still like reading for school a
Yeah.
bunch, but finding a better balance with it. But
Good.
when I read Firefly Lane and then when I read Normal People and Conversations with Friends, those were all within like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Those are the books that I'm like, they did everything for me.
Yeah.
Um, Firefly Lane was like the first time I read a book in a very long time where I like just literally could not put it down. I remember I was on a trip to California visiting my boyfriend, and I was just reading the whole time. He's like, "Are we gonna like hang out? Like, I need to know how this ends." It is
Yeah.
so good. So I love that book so much.
Okay. What is your earliest memory of reading? I feel like that kind of ties into the last question a bit, but yeah, your earliest memory.
That is a good question.
I
I
feel like
guess
I'm asking all the questions that if I got asked them, I'm like, uh, so like it's so much nicer to be on the asking end.
yeah, it's okay. That's so nice. And that's how you know it's like a good question when it stumps me. But
Yeah.
um I think it's hard to say because I feel like I have like the worst memory in the entire world. So I don't know if it's like my own memory or just things that people have told me. But my mom has told me that when I was a kid, I used to always have like one book upstairs and one book downstairs in my house. So I would always have like one that was when I wanted to like go to bed. That was my
Yeah.
reading book for then. And then I would have one that was accessible downstairs. So I think I always like was that way of needing multiple books at a time
Yeah.
because I'm still that way. I'm like, I need a Kindle book, I need a physical book, and
Yeah.
I need an audio book
Hmm.
going at once.
Yeah.
Which I know for some people that's like crazy. Are you that way?
I am really that way. It's like I've got a friend and she is like she only got into reading like last year before, and that's because of me. Just want to put it out there.
Love.
Um, but she literally will call me crazy because of the amount of books I can read at one time. And I'm like, it's my ADHD. I cannot focus on one at
Yes.
once. And
On
like
the
I have like five books on the go sometimes. And I'm like, and she'll
oh,
be like, how do you remember what's going on? And I'm just like, well,
they're all like different purposes.
yeah,
So
as long as I don't
those
read a
are
book that's too
organized a
similar
little
to the
bit.
other, like
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, this one. I have obviously watched your videos and I've talked to you and all that, and I've seen your Instagram.
Mhm.
And I know that you like the Magnolia Parks universe. And
Yeah.
I feel like this is something that we can really bond over
Love.
because I adore Jessa Hastings' writing. So who is your favorite Magnolia Parks universe character?
It's got to be BJ every time.
That makes me so
Yes.
happy. I feel like he's so hated.
I know he is so hated. It is so I okay, now we're gonna go on a little Magnolia Parks rant. It
Let's go on a
is
tangent.
it is so funny to me. Are you a Magnolia and BJ girl or are you a Daisy Christian girl?
Magnolia BJ.
Okay,
And
thank
don't get me
God.
wrong, I like Daisy and Christian, but there's just Magnolia and BJ are what brought me in. Like they
Yes,
bring me
exactly.
in.
They are the story.
They are.
So I love Daisy and I love Julian and like I know I'm gonna get hate for it in my last video, but Christian? Like
Like
he's kind
for
of
me.
irrelevant to me. Like
Yeah.
I don't think about him. I'm like he doesn't really have much to him, in my opinion. Again, so many people would be so mad at me
My
saying that.
friends are gonna be mad at me. Okay.
But I just love BJ with all of my heart. He
Yeah.
is everything to me. I have his tattoos up
That's
there.
my wait, let me quickly show you. Uh, can you oh no, it's messing up. There we go.
Yes, the best. The
Yeah.
best. He is like the ultimate crush of all time. And if you don't like BJ, continue
He's
with
the
this.
prettiest boy in the world. Like, come on, guys.
Yes.
You did the test.
I know. I know. I'm glad you're with me on that.
Yeah. It's like, don't get me wrong, he did make me angry, but that makes me like him more because of he had the ability to make me angry.
Mm,
And I think when you kind of get to like the long way home and you
Yeah.
figure out why he does what he does and all that, like it makes sense and it kind of it doesn't redeem his actions because of like his actions were still bad and everything. But you can kind of like understand him, you know?
Oh my God, definitely.
Yeah. Because of
Definitely.
like,
Once it starts
what
going to
would they have
therapy.
done? What would they have done?
Yeah. And that's
Like,
what I love. I know so many people get so upset, and particularly with like everybody who stands like Julian and Magnolia, when Jessa posts like, how are we equating murder to like one act of infidelity? I'm like, damn, you kind of like went off with
oh
that.
my God, her stories are actually the funniest things ever because of like, she just doesn't hold back, and I love
I
that.
know.
She does
I
not
love
hold back.
Julian too. I love Julian, but it's just
Yeah.
like he is not
It's
he
like
is
I am also a Magnolian and Julian girly. Magnolian? Magnolia and Julian girly. But like they just don't make sense. Like, don't get me wrong, reading Into the Dark, like that scene in the car did make me emotional, but they're not Magnolia and BJ. Like they've not got that history.
never be. You can't be Magnolia and BJ.
Yeah.
Like
You
that's
can't.
just
They're
soul
just
ties.
I love them so much. I'm so glad that we're on the same page with that.
Oh, I love this question.
I'm trying to see if I've got any other Magnolia Parks like questions to kind of stay with it, but I don't think I do yet. Um, what three books describe your taste in reading that you'd say?
Ooh, okay.
If
So
three's too difficult, you can pick more.
I might have to. So I always have like a core five that I say, which I think might change a bit this year, but I always say Normal People,
Mhm.
Magnolia Parks, specifically The Long Way Home. That's my favorite of the three in that world. Um, and My Dark Vanessa. And then also My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. I have like a big portrait of it in my other room because that book, again, like these are all like crazy girl reads, but they're my favorite. And I'm missing something. I know that I am. But I also really love the Beartown series. That was
I'll
like my
read that.
big, so good, Ellen. It is so good. That is like my big series that I just fell in love over this year. And now I want to read every single thing Bachman has ever written because I've loved every single thing I've read by him.
Yeah. If you're
And
ever in the mood for a reread of one of his books, let me know and maybe I'll read it
right?
with you.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
You have
because I've always wanted to get into his books, like since I've seen them kind of like being talked about. But then I see so many people getting emotional over them. And I'm like,
yeah,
last year was too much of an emotional reading year for me. Like, I don't know if I can put myself through this, but
so
I think this year might be have to be the year.
yeah, I think it has to be the year too. He is such an interesting writer because he will have you like cracking up on one page and then crying right at the next one.
Yeah,
The way that he writes about like the most devastating things, but like uses humor to do that. It's just
yeah,
like his writing is like nobody else.
yeah.
Oh,
I'll
he's so good.
definitely let you know if I start reading him.
Do please, please.
Um, what book character can you see yourself the most in? I was so proud of myself for this one, by the way.
That is such a good one. Oh God. Again, very exposing for me. I'm like,
I feel like all these questions are just like aimed to expose you, and I'm so sorry
eh,
about that.
it's okay. It's just my tastes are really like that. Because I could see myself in Connell and Marianne at different points.
I'm not saying yeah, as in I can see you in them. I just
They're
realized
like
I was like, wait.
it's yeah, it's really like that. Yeah, specifically Marianne, I can relate to her a lot at times. But then also like the second half of Normal People, Connell's whole arc, I can relate to as well.
Yeah,
So I think those two. Um, Sorry if you hear my teams going off, by the way. This is work hours for me. Trying to think of who else. Sorry, I'm like looking at my shelf.
that's fine.
Is it crazy to say Joe March from Little Women?
I
I
love that though. It might be a bit crazy, but I love that.
yeah, well, I think that's like what I would want to be more
Yeah,
so than what I think I am.
with your
Um,
writing and everything.
I love
Maybe
her.
without the whole being thrown in a fire, like the book or whatever.
That is like the worst pain I think I could ever imagine being inflicted on someone. That scene, I have to fast forward every time. I
Yeah.
can't do it. But yeah, I think her whole anxieties about being a woman and her
Yeah.
whole spiel, the monologue is so relatable.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I would love to say Joe March. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's
You know
what
what?
I
You say Joe March.
think you.
Who's going to tell you otherwise?
You're right. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do a fun, quick little like game thing. There's only five of them because of I'm
Okay.
stumped. But I set up a bookish this or that. You might have seen me in the Discord being like, "Hey guys, do you have any bookish this or that?" Because if I was literally stumped and I was like searching Google, I was like, "What can I do?" And they're like, "Not very helpful." So yeah. Um,
What's that?
Obviously, like if I'm gonna say two things and then you choose one. Pretty
Mhm.
simple, but yeah, just in case, just to be safe. So number one is Kindle or physical book.
It's got to be Kindle every time. If I can read whatever physical book I have on Kindle, I much prefer to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's because I don't know about you, but I get scared about cracking the spine. Like I know that that's a normal thing to do, but it just pains me.
Yeah, I get that. My thing is I don't like using a book light. It's just
Uh,
annoying. And I feel like a loser. I'm like, this is, I don't know why. I just have like a weird thing with using a book light. Like I'll do it. I
yeah,
just, mine, I always have to change it like every other page. It's
yeah,
annoying. So I always would prefer to read on Kindle.
yeah. Next up we've got romance or fantasy.
Good question. So those are both two like newer genres to me
Yeah,
over this past year because those are like the book community genres.
yeah,
And I've been loving them. I think, I don't know, because they're both so good for different purposes.
yeah.
Kind of want to say romance
Okay.
because I think that like I could probably live without fantasy books,
Yeah,
but I always need like a palate cleanser and always need to have like a giggly time.
yeah,
They're the most fun to me, I think.
yeah. Next up we've got a set TBR or are you a mood reader?
This is one I'm like trying to figure out about myself, honestly. I've like set TBRs for the month, but I think I don't know if I want to continue to do so in 2025 because I think I put like weird pressure on myself to complete it every month, and my tastes change throughout the month, and I'll prioritize different things. So I think I think I am a mood reader at heart, and I'm trying to be a set TBR girl, and I shouldn't.
Yeah. So mood reader for 2025.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
Fingers
Catch me
crossed.
in a TBR next week or something.
If I see that, I'll just be like, Gabby, come on.
I know you have full rights to call me out.
Um, Bookmark or like turn in the pages. I don't know why I just
That's okay. I would say bookmarks. I used to be a big dog ear
yeah,
person, but now that I've kind of like wanted to build my own library, I try to be more careful with my books, even though it's like I love a well-loved book. I don't know why I'm that way, but
yeah. And then the last one, I feel like I know the answer for this one, and I knew it like whilst I was watching your 24 of 2024. But I'd read it before, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep it on there just for fun. Magnolia Parks or Daisy Hates.
Magnolia through and through. I do think that I would probably get along better with Daisy.
Yeah,
Magnolia kind of intimidates me. Like, I think as
yeah.
a friend, I would probably prefer Daisy, but I love Magnolia so much.
Oh my God. I feel like she also gets a lot of hate. And I'm just like, that's my
Uh,
girl.
do not speak about her.
Yeah, that's my girl. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
The next question is a bit of a controversial one, possibly. What was your best and worst book of 2024?
Ooh. So my best book of 2024 was definitely Into the Dark.
My baby.
Um, so good. I definitely need to reread it, but I'm not like prepared to do it because I haven't
Uh,
read it since it came out.
yeah.
So my memory with it isn't like super great, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to put myself in that place again. Um, Worst book, probably a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I
Yeah.
tried reading it for a 24-hour challenge, and that was the first book I picked up, and then I just quit.
Not a good start.
Not a great start for me. I just wasn't, I don't know. It definitely wasn't for me, and I don't know why I tried to pick it up, but I just really did not like that book.
Yeah. Okay. Are you a paperback girl or a hardback girl?
Through and through.
Yeah. I prefer reading from a hardback. Like, I don't know about you, I prefer reading from a hardback, but then I prefer holding and looking at a paperback because if
See,
hardbacks don't crack,
yeah, yeah.
that's my thing. And they're just a lot easier, I find, but then they're just so clunky.
I think I like looking at hardbacks, and I
Yeah.
prefer reading from a paperback.
Yeah. But as well, because you're in America, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I don't know if all of them are, but like your books are a lot more floppier than ours. Our
Well, I
books,
always see Ellen talk about that too.
yeah, wait, let me try and find a good example. Here we go. Like literally the fine print.
Oh, very stiff.
Yeah,
I don't
it's not good. We're not having a great time over here.
know. What the heck?
Do you have any advice for someone who is just starting out on Bookstagram or BookTube?
Oh, that's a good question. I think to just do whatever feels right to you. I think there's a lot of different perspectives on like how best to do Bookstagram and how best to do BookTube and what you should be posting and what posts do well. And I think it's better not to focus on numbers or anything like that and just do what feels right to you and what's fun for you because it's supposed to be a fun space.
Yeah,
Uh, so I guess just being authentic to yourself and what feels right.
cool.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite author and your favorite book by them?
Okay. So I would say my two are probably Jessa, my
Yeah,
favorite being The Long Way Home, and Frederick Bachman. And my favorite book by him being Us Against You, I would say, or even A Man Called Ove. I really love that book.
yeah.
And those are my
Okay.
top.
I got this one from Salma. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you could erase your memory and reread your favorite book for the first time again, which book would you choose? Or any book?
See, it has to be like Magnolia Parks, right? Like
Ah,
the
I'd be a bit
feeling
shocked if you didn't say that, I'm not gonna lie.
that, like, especially because the feeling of reading that for the first time and not even knowing like what was to come is
Yeah,
so crazy. I
yeah,
can't imagine picking something else, to be honest.
yeah. I'm not really surprised by that, to be fair.
Would that be it for you as well, do you
See, I've
think?
got two, like joint two, because I've got a top two series, but it's number one, if that makes sense. Because I've got obviously Magnolia Parks, love that series with everything in me. But then I've also got Boys of Tommen. That is my joint first favorite series of all time.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because Redeeming Six is actually my favorite book. So
okay.
yeah.
Over Magnolia Parks? Oh, sorry to make you choose between your two favorite children.
Yeah, this is me, guys. Um, Honestly, I would probably have to say Magnolia Parks because of just the memories I've got with it and like the fact that I made a lot of my friends through it. Like I made quite a few friends through Boys of Tommen, but like Magnolia Parks is where it started for me. And like I've met Jessa, like I need to give her that. Like, but yeah, Boys of Tommen is a very close second, but it's like they're still joint first. But if I had to choose, I saw on your video that you recently found Abby Jimenez, and she is now your favorite or one of your favorite romance authors. I don't know how many of her books that you've read, but from the books that you have read by her, can you rank them?
Oh, honestly, very easy to do in my head. I would say going from bottom up, I've only read four of her books.
Okay.
From her backlist, I've only read Life's Too Short, and I think that's is it that one? I think it was that one. That one would probably be last. I don't even remember anything from it,
Yeah.
and it didn't really feel like the Abby Jimenez that I've read like this year. It just felt like very different writing from what I was used to with her. So that would be number four. Number three would be Part of Your World. I know a lot of people love that one, but of that like interconnected universe, it's definitely my least favorite.
Yeah.
And well, again, don't really remember much from it. And then it would be Yours Truly, and the top would be Just for the Summer. I love Just for the Summer.
Yeah.
Just and I love Yours Truly. I think I like immediately gave them both 5 stars when I finished.
Yeah.
It was so good.
So that's all the questions I've got written down. Do you have anything you want to say or like ask or anything?
I don't know. I don't think so. These were some great questions. This
Thank
was so fun.
you. Like all through today, I was like, okay, what should I ask? So yeah,
I love doing this. This is so much fun.
this is my second episode,
Uh,
actually.
It's amazing. You're so great at this.
I've got some good people lined up.
That's so exciting. Can I
Uh,
ask, do you have like a dream guest?
my dream guest, I'm gonna shoot big.
Yeah,
Jessica.
do. Yes! I was hoping that's what you were gonna say.
Yeah, that is my
Yeah,
dream guest.
yeah.
I'm praying I can make it happen one day because
I
I know she does do podcasts, but I don't know if it's just one specific podcast she does. But I'm like, I'm just building up the courage to be like, Jessa, do you want to come on?
that would be like my claim to fame too. I'd be
Yeah,
like, oh, it's on that podcast first, and then
yeah.
just
I was the second guest.
that would be amazing. And I am hoping just
Fingers
for
crossed, honestly, because of that is like one of my biggest dreams for this whole thing is to get her on because I love her so much and I will never shut up about her, like genuinely. But yeah, I am. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
you so much.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come on here as well. And yeah, I will see you later.
All right, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.